It is Thursday, December 28th. It's early for me. I'm getting my plan. My plan might be working a little bit. We shall see. It is bright and sunny outside, but it's 43, so I'm not on the deck. No, I don't know. Maybe I'll go out there and see if I'm on the deck. I'm pretty sure I'm not, though. While I was at my parents', I grabbed this picture. This is a picture of my mother's mother. And she thinks it's probably her confirmation picture. But my sister wants it for over her fireplace, so I brought it home with me and I'm going to send it to her. But that's my grandmother. Yep. I can see the resemblances, Christy and me and Mama, for sure. And John a little. Good morning. It's Barbara and Pearl. Yeah, it was too chilly for me to sit outside for a while, but it's beautiful. It'll be a gorgeous day to go for a walk. When I'm all bundled up. Well, I'm home. I had a very nice visit with my brother, and my mom's dinner party turned out to be so lovely. We had such a good time. It's the same place we took my dad for his birthday in August, and they have a little room that has like two long tables, and it's a little bit separate, and we were in there by ourselves with nobody else at the other table, so we were loud and rowdy, and we didn't disturb anybody else. And when I say we were loud and rowdy, my sister-in-law Shelley, who doesn't think she's loud, she is. My brother John, who's loud, and me. The three of us were loud, and everybody else was quiet. My mother is not loud. My dad's not very loud either, and my brother Tim. And my sister-in-law Jenny. They're all quiet. But the rest of us, we were rowdy. And it was such a nice time. We just had lovely conversations and laughed. Mama had a very good time. She really enjoyed herself. Which was good, because it was her birthday. And she loved the card. She opened it. Oh, this is a beautiful card. And Daddy says, I bet Barb painted that. Oh, no. She was so sweet. So she liked the card. So that's good. Yeah, it was very nice. However, my brother, the purveyor of alcohols, got a new gin on his list, and so we were trying out his new gin, and I tried out his new gin too well, and I had oysters again and I'm not blaming the oysters. It was the gin. Anyway, I woke up with a very upset stomach and a splitting headache yesterday. I mean, a very upset stomach. No details necessary. To the point where I was sitting there saying, oh my God, I've just infected my whole family. I must have COVID. Luckily, I only infected myself, and I was just hungover. Gosh. But I didn't feel well. I'm not going, and I didn't know, I keep going like this. Do I have a fever? Do I have a fever? So I couldn't go back and visit my parents in the morning. I had to come home. After I started to feel a little better, my brother made me a cup of tea. He's a nice guy. Made me a cup of tea. I felt better. I drove home. And I just got better and better and better, So it was just a hangover. So broth for dinner. Well, not just broth, because when I got home, Michelle's people were here working on our trees. She was supposed to do all this work for us. We had contracted all this work and she was going to come And she said, oh, next week. And I'm like, that'll be perfect. We'll be on vacation. You can do it. And because the dogs go crazy when those guys are outside. And do it when the dogs aren't here. That will be perfect. Get home. No work was done. And rain was coming, and we needed the gutters cleaned because the water gets in the basement. So I texted her and I said, you know, Michelle, I was disappointed to see the work wasn't done. I mean, I'm usually like, oh, well, maybe. I'm like, you know, I decided to treat her like a, you know, like we had a deal. And she said, oh, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so the guys came. That was Monday. The guys came Monday and trimmed the bushes and cleaned out the gutters because it was supposed to rain on Tuesday, which it did. But it didn't rain as much as it was supposed to overnight. So yesterday, yesterday was Wednesday, right? So yesterday when I came home, the guys were out taking down some trees, grinding stumps, that kind of thing. So they were still when I got home. So after they left, we took a little walkabout, and boy, this is a long way to tell you. I ate an apple because one of Dennis's apple trees actually has apples. The Granny Smith was not completely decimated by our squirrel. And we actually have apples. Now, we don't really eat apples. You know, the whole apple thing was pre-keto. And, but it's still frustrating to not get apples. So the sun is doing its thing again, which I'm very happy for. I'm not complaining. So we have all these apple trees, but we never get apples because either they don't pollinate, or if they pollinate, we have an apple-eating squirrel that literally takes all the apples off the tree when they're about that big and green and hard. Maybe they keep better over the winter that way. I don't know. Squirrels apparently don't care. So anyway, it's a miracle that we have apples on our tree. They're Granny Smiths, and the squirrel left like 10 apples. So we have apples. So we were out there surveying the work, and I grabbed an apple off the tree. So I ate it with peanut butter, and it was delicious. And I was thinking about it this morning, and it was just like we walked out. I just pulled it off the tree. Most of them are too high. I'm going to need a grabber to pick them. But I was able to, and then I ate it, and it's so neat to eat your own fruit from your own tree. We've only done that a few times, and I think Dennis has had apple trees planted at least 15 years or more. So it was kind of an event. So I had an apple with 3/4 of an apple because Dennis had a quarter, and I dipped it in peanut butter, and it was yummy. Kim had that at Nag's Head, and I thought, oh, that looks yummy, and then I got an apple. So much fun. So I had a broth and apple and peanut butter for dinner. Did not have anything to drink, alcoholic, and tea, and let my stomach settle, and I woke up this morning feeling perfectly fine. Oh, and I don't have a fever, so I don't have COVID. I have no reason to think I have COVID other than my brain. But I warned everybody, and I said I was going to kind of stay in quarantine a little bit just to be sure. But I'm sure that was overindulgence. Oh, guess what I forgot to do this morning that I was going to do before I started recording? I finished my boxy last night. Yay! I finished my boxy last night. I even wove in the ends. Yay! And I had so many ends. Oh my God. I don't know how I ended up with so many ends, but I ended up with, oh, well, I was alternating skeins and such. But anyway, I put it into soak so I could block it last night, and then I went to bed and forgot it. So it's been soaking all night, so it's very, very wet. So I will put it through the washer. spin cycle, and I will block my boxy today. Yay! I did the sleeves. The sleeves and the neck were done in the last skein of yarn, and they are much bluer than the rest of the boxy. But I think, you know, maybe that's okay. I'm not sure other people would note. I mean, I would note as well. You'll notice when I show it to you tomorrow or Friday. Tomorrow is Friday. Mama's birthday was Tuesday. I came home yesterday. Today's Thursday. I already said that when I looked at the gizmo. Anyway, finished my boxing. So if I have any brain space today, I am going to take a look at my forest park and put in another row. All I did was cast on and put in the stitch markers where I was told to. And then I read that instruction that said, ooh, you just have to keep track of a couple things. I even have a very fancy counter gizmo that can keep track of rows and stitches and all kinds of things. So I might look at that. Or I might just get my paper out. But I just need to sit quietly and read. So I have a good picture in my mind how the shaping works, because it's got a V here and it's a raglan sleeve with a V neck, and so you're doing things at each end of your row, different things for different reasons. But that is going to be such a snuggly, yummy cardigan. I'm very excited. I'm not excited. You know, I have this hurdle to get started, but once I'm started, I'm sure I'll be fine. And I've done it before, although it was a very long time ago. So I know I can do it. It's just a matter of that initial hurdle of figuring it out, getting it pictured in my mind, and then knitting with that yummy yarn, and I'll get to do mosaic, and I love mosaic. So that's next on the knitting list, is to get that organized in my mind. But I have painting to do. I have cards to make. And so I may be painting today. I should be painting today. So that's all the news is. It rained on my drive down to State College, but it was gorgeous yesterday. And then today, it's another beautiful day. My gizmo says it's cloudy, but I don't see a cloud out there. And it's bright and sunny, so it'll be I didn't walk the dogs yesterday because I didn't get home in time. But it'll be a nice day for a walk, for sure. And I guess that's it. I don't know what else to say. I am feeling much better, and I'm glad for that. And it's bright and sunny, and I'm feeling good. Bright and sunny makes me feel good. Maybe it'll be chilly tonight, and I'll have a fire. I haven't had a fire yet. Dennis offered a fire half-heartedly, and I half-heartedly, so, you know, a few nights ago. So I haven't had a fire yet, but I have lots of wood. Michelle did deliver the wood a few weeks ago. So anyway, I'm glad to have that work done. I think they still haven't power washed the house, which is not urgent. That doesn't make the dogs happy either, as you can imagine. But then it'll be done. But we look all spiffy. And they trimmed all the bushes in the front yard. And they decided that they didn't like anything low to the ground. So everything has been trimmed up. So there's lots of spaces, open space in our front flower bed. Well, it's not a flower bed because it doesn't really have flowers in it. But it's where, you know, I have a rhododendron. They really trimmed it. Dennis promised me that it's okay, but they trimmed my rhododendron back so much. I was like upset. He's like, no, that needed to be done. And he was very reassuring. But that's a 25-year-old rhododendron. It's a big, beautiful rhododendron. And so I'll be really sad if it's not big, beautiful next year. But anyway, so they cut everything up up off the ground. So you can really see all the way to the house, which will make it easier for them to power wash the house and get back there. And so that's good. But I have daffodil envy every spring when I drive around and my neighbors have big patches of daffodils. And the daffodils are the ones that come out so early and just when you need it, when you want a little spring in your life. And, you know, you drive around and people have daffodils and it's so nice. And so we have this big open space that's been cleared. We're going to plant daffodil bulbs. And one thing that I loved in our house years ago, I had planted crocuses, little tiny crocuses, not the big giant crocuses. Crocuses aren't giant. Real little crocuses in the grass. And so before the grass started growing, these crocuses came up. And so my lawn had beautiful crocuses, a little patch of crocuses, and it was so lovely. So I want to go and plant crocuses in my lawn because they, you know, they're very early and then they're done and you can mow over them and, you know, and then your grass can live its summer life and then next spring you have little crocuses and you never know they're there after the flowers, you know, after they stop flowering. So anyway, I'm thinking about that. I don't know how ambitious I'm going to be honest with you, but I, you know, since they cleared it so high and those daffodils are going to show come spring, we're going to go buy bulbs. And I'm definitely getting daffodils, and I'll see what else I get. Maybe paper whites and crocuses for sure. And I'll also buy a few chrysanthemums that are already bloomed and plant those in the other garden, and it'll look really beautiful around our house. That somebody else did. I did really well in the spring. I did my garden in the spring, and then I ignored it for a long time. That's how it is. So anyway, that's the plan. But I don't think we're going to do that today. I'm feeling like I'm going to be a homebody. And I don't know what's with Dennis lately. I think he's been watching a lot of cooking shows and things like that on YouTube on his channel. So they've started, and in keto recipes and things. And so they've started making suggestions on his YouTube. So now he's watching more YouTube things. He found a keto biscotti recipe. I love biscotti. I need to buy almonds. We're going to make biscotti. See how it is. The thing with keto breads and cakes and things is they're very tender because they don't have any flour in them. So they don't have gluten. They're made with almond flour or coconut flour. And so they don't have any gluten. And so they're very crumbly. They don't hold together like, you know, normal pastries would because there's no gluten. Some recipes substitute some kinds of cheese to give that, you know, mozzarella is the main one for you know, things like, you know, pizza doughs and cinnamon rolls and things like that. And my crackers use paneer. But anyway, I don't know how these will turn out, but for some reason, Dennis is really interested in trying that. And he doesn't even eat biscotti. I think he might eat these, though. He doesn't like, you know, when you get store-bought biscotti, they're so hard. You know, you've got to dunk them in your coffee. Ooh, if we can dunk these, that would be great. But we need to buy almonds because they have whole almonds in them. If we do that. If we buy almonds today, we might try biscotti. Anyway, I'm going to go block my boxy. Well, I'm going to go spin it first and block my boxy. And I will talk to you tomorrow. I hope you are feeling well. I am feeling much better. And, yeah. And the sun's out. I don't think I'd be a very good vampire. I'd be grumpy all the time. Anyway, please take good care of yourselves. Please, please, please stay safe and stay sane. I can't turn you off.